So whoever said that libraries were a thing of the past haven't really grasped the concept of things as a service. Many things now we just rent, don't we? And we get them when we want them rather than buy them outright, whether it's storage, whether it's movies, whether it's music, or even transport. Why have the hassle of owning things when you can just get them when you need them and then give them back? And so enter the Library of Things that recently opened in Bedford Street at the Eco Hub and was founded by Maurice Herson, who I'm sat with in the Eco Hub right now. Maurice, welcome to Life in Lem.
Good morning, Tim.
So here we are. We're sat in the Library of Things, a big sign above the door and above the desk. Tell us a little bit first about what the concept is here.
It's the same as the concept of a book library, except it's anything except books. You know, you want to read a book, you don't want to buy it, you don't want to own it, you don't want to have it afterwards, so you go and you borrow one. What's wrong with that? But do it with other things. So anything else, you can be treated more or less the same way.
So this one's in Leamington, but I mean, this is not just a local thing. This is a national thing that's going on, isn't it? And I think you've done one in Oxford before.
Yeah, and I started one in Oxford, 2017, something like that now, the end of 2017. And we were one of the first half a dozen or so in the country. My understanding now, although I don't think anybody can prove it, is that there's over 100 in the country. I certainly know that there's, a very large number. So it feels wonderful to be sort of riding this wave in a sense.
So what is it that's going on around about that sort of means that the time has come for libraries of things?
Oh, I think there's a whole lot of things. There's a sort of synergy between, well, there's the cost of living, there's the inflation, the fact that a lot of people live in small places where they haven't got storage. There's just the idea that, as you said earlier, the fact that you can get access to things without having to have them. That is a trend that is going on in society, together with, I think, an awareness that our consumer society is just not sustainable. I mean, we can't go on like this, digging materials out of the ground, turning them into things, using them and then throwing them away. We just can't go on doing that.
And so why have you chosen Leamington to set up shop?
Because I live here. Saw this shop empty and thought, do you know what, I'm going to do it again. So here we are.
Can't resist.
Yeah, because it's fun.
And so what sorts of things can people borrow from the Library of Things here?
Well, there's all the sort of obvious, usual things. You want a drill or a more powerful drill than the one you've got yourself. There's all the tools and things like that. But a lot of entertaining things. Somebody yesterday brought in a whole lot of sort of party plastic cups and plates and things you might want for a kid's party. We've got a food dehydrator, for example, which is, one of those things that you don't want to have it really. I mean, I guess at particular times of the year it'll be very popular. So a whole variety of different things.
What would you say is the weirdest thing that you have in stock at the moment?
Oh God, we're always asked this, aren't we? What's the weirdest thing? Well, there's a unicycle. Is that weird enough?
Yeah, could you demonstrate it for me now?
No, I couldn't, because it's on loan to somebody at the moment. Why not? And one of my daughters had a glitter ball. And I mean, that went into the library in Oxford, and I'd happily do the same thing again here because it's really popular.
So if someone was interested in borrowing something, how do they find out what you have in stock?
There's a website and there's an inventory on it, and you can look at the inventory, you can look at the pictures of things, click through and see actually what they are and what you get and how much we charge for it, because there is a charge involved that varies from £1 for something fairly cheap and minor through to maybe £20 for a pressure washer. Rather than paying £350 to buy one, you can hire it for £20. So there's that system where people can go online, they can see what there is, they can order it, come along here on one of our opening times, take it away, use it, bring it back clean, please, and that's it.
Right, and so I'll put the website address that Maurice has just mentioned alongside the blurb for the podcast, so you can go have a little cruise through, see what they have here. And so it's typically the process, people will reserve something online and then come along and collect it, or do you people just wander in and go, have you got?
It's a bit of both. I mean, it's not unknown for somebody to come in and sort of say, oh, I didn't know about this. You wouldn't happen to have a whatever it is, because they've got it in their mind, and they didn't, they've suddenly found out about it. So we can handle that quite easily. It's obviously easier if it's pre-booked, because then we can make sure that it's checked out and clean and been safety checked and all the rest of it.
And so you're open a couple of days a week, aren't you? How does it work logistically in terms of how long people keep the things that they've borrowed? When do they tend to come and collect them? That sort of thing.
So we're not open enough hours at the moment. I have to admit, it would be lovely to open more hours, and we'll work towards that. But at the moment, it's only 2 hours on a Wednesday and 2 hours on a Saturday. Wednesday morning through lunchtime and Saturday in the afternoon. The deal is that you take something for a week. It's not unknown for somebody to borrow something at the beginning of our opening session, run away and drill a couple of holes and bring it straight back. But I'm sorry, that's still a week's loan,
So the loan period is nominally a week. You pay for the week. If you keep it 2 hours, you still pay for a week. If you want to keep it 2 weeks, then you can negotiate that with you, providing someone's not reserved it, I guess, for that
week. Exactly.
So I suppose some people might have a very specific need. They need for a job or a particular event or something like that. But someone might just be cruising through your website and see something and go, oh, I wonder how that works. Do people do that?
Yeah. The unicycles are, one thing, I want to have a go, or my son wants to have a go, or whatever. But, we've got a bread maker, for example. So I myself borrowed the bread maker because people go on about bread makers, don't they? I hadn't tried one. I thought, I don't want to buy one. I just want to try one. And then there was a mother who came in and said her 11-year-old son said he wanted to play the guitar. So this was in Oxford. We lent her a guitar, and he tried it for a couple of weeks. Got no idea whether he took it up or not, as it happens, but at least they had the opportunity to try it before they bought.
So that's quite exciting, isn't it? You've got the opportunity to just have a look through and go, oh, that might be fun, or that would be something interesting to try. And here's a place you can come and try it. In terms of things that you have, where do they come from? Are they things that people have donated, or do you go scouring charity shops? How do you acquire stock?
All of those things. So people will say, my mother-in-law's got a shed, which and stuff comes that way. A lot of stuff. I'm a bit of a scourer of charity shops, I'm afraid, and so I do get things from charity shops. Every library of things in the country, the most wanted object is a pressure washer. It just is, and so I bought one. It's one of those things you just have to have, and I've got a list of things that people have asked or suggested that we have.
So, Maurice, what if you've got a list of most wanted in terms of things you'd like to have what sorts of things are at the top of that list?
Oh, I'd love a tea urn. I mean, they're really useful objects, and you might have a neighbourhood meeting where you don't want to be boiling 1,000 kettles, do you? So something like a tea urn is quite high up on the list. I'd quite like an angle grinder. It's quite a dangerous object, so we wouldn't let that out to somebody who just fancied having a go. But I think it's the kind of thing that, again, people don't want to have it for themselves, but is a really good thing to have. So there's a variety of things. On the list was one of those self-inflating mattresses, and then suddenly I found one.
So if anyone listening happens to have a tea urn or an angle grinder or even both, then Maurice would be very interested in having them. And so you mentioned to me earlier on, you're a not-for-profit community. In fact, you're a CRC, a community interest company, and you're run entirely by volunteers, including yourself. If someone was interested in coming and helping out, and maybe helping you perhaps extend opening hours a little bit, so is that something they can approach you for? And if so, is there a particular shape of person that you'd really love to have working here?
Are we interested in people coming to volunteer? Yes, please. Providing somebody, I suppose, buys into the idea. You have to kind of find something in it that you like. I mean, either the idea that it's a contribution to changing the consumer society, if that's your thing, or you like fiddling with things, or I was very lucky. I found somebody in Oxford who loved doing accounts. How lucky can you get?
So if someone's listening going, actually, that would be a lot of fun, I'd like to come and volunteer, how do they get in touch with you?
Our email address is libraryofthings@makeleamington.co.uk, and if Tim could link that somehow to the podcast, that would be nice.
Yes, of course, I'll include that as well. So just to wrap up, Maurice, just to make people aware where you are. So you're at the bottom of Bedford Street, almost down at the multi-storey car park there. And you share this space with the Eco Hub. It does feel like there's a very nice synergy there, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. And we set up together for exactly that reason. We could be like a tools sharing store or something, but we're not. We're trying to be a community group where we talk to people and we get involved and we have discussions and so on. And that's exactly what they do as well.
So whatever your motivations, whether it's around finding a cost-effective solution for something you only need for a limited time, whether it's participating in something local for the community, or whether it's really trying to help make changes as a society, how we consume things and indeed whether we consume things at all, the Library of Things is here and it's for you. Maurice, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Tim.